Hey, welcome back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sharp Edge News TV. My name is Ola. Welcoming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. But I do have my uncle, the I Chief, the editor in chief, the publisher of SharpEdgeNews.com here today. Welcome, sir. How are you, sir?
Good to be back with you, Ola.
Great.
And, so nice to join thousands, if not millions of our... No, don't let me exaggerate.
It's millions in the spirit. We're doing well.
Hey,
we
man.
just did 14,000 views. You can. That's not too far from 1 million.
That's right. So thousands of our viewers out there, wherever they may be. I'm saying it's good to be back with you all.
Awesome. Great. Welcome back. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and follow everywhere. Help us promote the platform. Today we have a royal special, if you will. But the first one we're going to cover, he's also going to touch on some other stuff. But I'm going to read a small report from... Wait, what's going on here? Let me see if I can get rid of this. Okay. There's a small report from the Daily Beast, but the reality is that this report is everywhere with regard to the visit of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and there's some claim around some people are making some claims, something about a Nigerian fugitive in the person of I forgot what is his name, the Airpeace chairman. Right.
So Mr. Allen Onyama.
Yes, the Airpeace. So maybe you can bring us up to speed. What's going on with that, and then you can cover the other specials that you have for us today.
I do not know how Mr. Allen Onyama is a fugitive. Anyway, the thrust of the report is that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince and Princess Harry, the Duchess in this case, Princess Meghan, were in Nigeria to promote the latest passion of the British Prince, which is some form of sporting activities, awareness for injured military men, servicemen in Nigeria, and is a passion that he has developed over the last few years. And that is following in the tradition of his late mother, Princess Diana, who was everywhere in the cause of humanity and charities and philanthropy. Unfortunately, media organizations, media outlets owned by Mr. Rupert Murdoch, the Australian-born global media mogul, who has also been a shameless enabler for the excesses of ultra-right racists everywhere in the world, was slamming that trip to Nigeria, a worthy trip for that matter, as a jamboree. And some of his media outlets were painting it as an event in which there was a 3-day, revelry of dances and vanity, which is not true. Of course, they also ended some of their reports. Some of these people who are armchair journalists that never left the shores of Europe or America started amplifying is that Nigeria is a country of crime, violence, and what have you, that is not worthy of such a visit, and that the visit was expressly carried out by Harry as a peak of rebellion against his father, King Charles of United Kingdom. Nothing could be further from the truth. And to want to paint Nigeria as the ultimate destination of human rights violations and what have you is to want to stand history on its head. You want to tell anybody in a world in which everything has shrunk to something you can always fact check on the palm of, with your device, whatever device you're using, you would understand that if there is uh, any form of robbery, global robbery, in the name of building empires and uh, taking possession of things that do not belong to Britain originally, you would say that United Kingdom, Britain, or what have you, is the bastion of that. So to now want to twist out of place a good work being championed by Prince and Princess Harry, and the fact that they visited Nigeria, a worthy royal enterprise for that matter, is what any of us will not be able to happily connect with. It leaves us with a sad memory of the same Britain that went everywhere, whether in India, whether in Australia, the land of the Aborigines, but principally in Africa, encouraging massacres, possibly taking over things that never belonged to Britain, looting artifacts, and stealing people whom they forcefully held down into slavery and servitude for hundreds of years, to now come and moralize on where or what clime is most worthy of a royal visit. And of course, who needs any royal visit of validation from England or Rupert Murdoch? Who does?
So sorry to interrupt your train of thought. I want you to speak to some specifics here, right? According to Daily Mail, Onyema, the Airpeace chairman, is facing multiple charges of alleged fraud, which were set down in a federal indictment filed in November 2019. The charges amount to over $20 million of fraud allegedly committed by Onyema over the years. Stanley Olisa, a staff member of Airpeace, spoke to the Mirror about the free flights. He explained that Onyema gave Harry and Meghan complimentary flights and everything they wanted because of their status as royals. This is something that they were speaking to. Also on Fox News, they have in quotes, "The King and Prince William are not surprised when Harry makes trips abroad, even when Meghan accompanies him." Haddison told Fox News Digital, "And I don't get the sense they begrudged Harry for his ties to Africa. Charles and Williams have crossed Harry off their list for a plethora of reasons, but making a brief trip with one reporter and one photographer in tow isn't one of them." So they're basically making they're painting a picture here.
The picture they are painting is not exactly true. Mr. Allen Onyema, that people know, he's been doing good things like evacuating Nigerians from war zones like the Sudan, wherever they are stranded during the xenophobic killings in South Africa. He was there, and lately he made an incursion into the competitive Nigerian British aviation route. Remember, airlines operated by European interests were really going for the jugular, almost choking Nigeria to death with huge flight tariffs. And then Mr. Onyema came into rode into the eye of the storm, crashing those killer prices being charged by these British and other European foreign airlines. And then in flying, in being a Nigerian national flag carrier, instead of being allowed to, the eyebrow, what's it called, airport, Heathrow. He was his airline was confined
Confined
to Gatwick, and
Gatwick, yes.
even such an inconspicuous space at Gatwick. It's a trade war, and Britain or the Western world want to win in every encounter with Africa, including questionable agenda on um, sexual orientation. Africa says this is the way they have always lived, and they want it to remain like that. Britain and America want to ram something else down their throat. This is what this is about, and nobody would be able to come out to say with 100% courage of conviction that King Charles does not love his son, Prince Harry. All these speculations about him distancing himself, disowning him, and then trying to dig up the mud, saying Aled Onyema is involved in fraud. That is quite novel. And why is this coming from a racist stable, media stable, other than the one owned by Rupert Murdoch? Nobody should be surprised. Rupert Murdoch lives for nothing other than causing tension everywhere in the world. And it's been exposed everywhere. His biggest sale, the biggest fraudulent sale politically has been Donald Trump. And you can call his second name anyway, fraud. So, if they now come, just because Harry and Meghan came to Nigeria, a land that has always been a place for several royalties, Africa is no stranger to the royal trappings, circumstance, pomp. So if they come now and make this worthy trip to promote sports and well-being of orphans, injured and disabled veterans, not only in Nigeria but everywhere, what a shame.
Chief, don't forget to look at me, the camera.
All right. So these are the issues that are involved. These are the issues that are involved. So, talking of royalty, we quickly move, and briefly let us talk about our kingdom of Ayede Ogbese.
Sure.
Ondo State, Nigeria.
What's going on in Ogbese?
Well,
I like to call it Ogbese. You like to call it Ayede Ogbese. I like to call it Ogbese.
You talk of Ogbese, you're talking of the major river that flows for 50 miles before emptying into the Atlantic Ocean as a tributary. So, but our town, our community, our kingdom is Ayede. So Ayede on the basin of River Ogbese. Now, the latest situation is such that the Commissioner of Police in Ondo State, and indeed the Inspector General of Police in Nigeria, is being misled about the fact of what is going on about the demise of the King of the Kingdom, December 29, 2023.
You know what will be appropriate? Let me put a demarcation here so that we can make sure that the editing comes out properly, so that we can separate the issues, if that's okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll be right back in just about 20 seconds. Do us a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and follow. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're talking about Ayede Ogbese, which is our very own hometown. I think it's in Akure North, right? Would you say?
Yes, Akure North local government of Ondo State, Nigeria.
All right. So we're talking about the demise of the
king, the Oba.
A little while back. Yes.
Yeah, His Royal Majesty Raphael.
Okay.
Ajibola Oluyede.
All right. So bring us up to speed. What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on is such that since the demise of the king, December 29, 2023. Till now, no chief, no kingmaker in the kingdom is able to say that this is the whereabouts of the remains, which is quite an abomination, which is quite unprecedented and a shameful thing. What has happened is that the queen consort, the wife of the deceased king, has taken possession. Whatever she is doing, maybe, with the remains, and everybody has been treating the matter with kid gloves in order not to be accused of perpetuating any harmful traditional thing against a woman. But she has taken it to the extreme, such that acting in cahoots with some fall away, some fallen kingmaker in the community, and an individual who was solicited to assist my office as the second most senior high chief in the community, as the person in charge of the financial portfolio of the kingdom, to assist in revenue drive. That person was singularly promoted in a laughable and ludicrous way by the Olori as the new person occupying my space, which is no qualms, because I'm free of the entanglements of all those distractions, and I'm doing what suits my purpose in life, which is journalism and taking care of my family and serving my God. But surprisingly, I left Nigeria with due permission of the deceased king, and until he was not able to talk with me one-on-one anymore, and the wife decided to fraudulently seize the communication line, the handset, the phone, the mobile phone. I was pretending and shunning out messages as if the king was the one that was doing it. Suddenly, the Olori shocked everybody by recruiting willing stooges to say that the late king had removed me as a kingmaker before he passed on, which is not true. And she has since moved to lift the signature of the late king from documents to prepare some fraudulent proclamation that I was indeed removed by the late king. It is not true. However, to get this realized, she has taken possession of the remains of the king, which is unheard of, and has continued to name drop, saying that the governor of the state, Mr. Lucky Ayede, is with her in this agenda, which is completely wrong-headed and meant to achieve nothing. The latest thing she has done is that she got people to invade the premises of the palace in Ayede Ogbese, allegedly in the name of digging the grave of the late king, which is something that is supposed to be solemnly done between the kingmakers and the royal family. And then she brought in all kinds of people to desecrate the palace. This is a sacrilege. And then she was stopped. The hirelings were stopped in their tracks. The next thing was that this Olori concocted documents and allegations, submitted that to the Ondo State Command of the Nigerian Police, alleging that her life and that of her two children were under threat. At risk, and that there have been attempts made to assassinate her. On the contrary, he was the one that made moves to get people to annihilate me, which was why I opted for self-exile, because I would not stand by or sit down and allow people to just kill me so cheaply. So I chose self-exile. Beyond that, earlier today, individuals in the Oluyede royal family of Ayede Ogbese visited with the police. And the next thing, the deputy commissioner of police in charge of CID in Ondo State did at the behest of the Commissioner of Police of the state is to slap all of them into detention. And then it took the intervention of a lawyer to secure their bail as return. So as this stands, Olori Oluyede is using the Nigerian police to harass the people, the high chiefs, that is Kingmakers of Ayede Ogbese, and members of the royal family. Nobody is saying she cannot bury her husband. If she wants to bury her husband, she should take her husband to their private property. If it is about the funeral rights of our king, that has to be done by, the Kingmakers acting in consultation with members of the royal family. And then she has no right to say that in digging the grave of the late husband, they should also dig a grave alongside that of the late king. No Olori is ever buried in any palace in Yoruba, anywhere, alongside kings. Kings are kings, Oloris are Oloris. We can make our own arrangement elsewhere. So this is where we are. And going forward, decisions are going to be taken. The officer that has been cooperating with her, Tunji Aladioki, who is not a native of Ayede Ogbese, who has decided to parade himself as a deputy of Ayede Ogbese, is also on notice, and other people acting in contact with them, people carrying out what's it called, non-state act as security operatives in order to harass and silence and intimidate and possibly harm people in the community will now be put in check. So the Inspector General of Police of Nigeria is hereby placed on notice that the community does not want any trouble with the law, with the police. But when it comes to issues of traditions, they should stay out of our business, and they will be hearing from our community by way of litigation in due time. And Governor Ayede is hereby elected to take a position, whether he is for the people of Ondo State, our tradition, our institutions, or as Olori Oluyede is lying around, peddling a falsehood, saying that Ayede approves of our agenda to continue to harass people from our husband's household, or I choose in the community to want to kill us, drive us underground, and then say that it is only Lisa and Seriki Ausawa that are the only two recognized Jews in the community. She has no such power, and she cannot come and force Hausa Fulani agenda on us in Ayede Ogbese. This is the situation in the palace as we speak. And
I have a quick.
Yes.
Are you done? Sorry about that.
Yes.
Okay, I have a quick question for you. There's an article that was published on Punch newspaper, April 15th, 2023, by that's a while back. That was almost a year ago or so, more than a year ago now. It's titled "Kingmakers Now Consult Pastors, Not Ifa, to Select Kings." That's Oba Oluyede himself. It was published by an Oladimiji Ramon, right?
Yes.
Our culture, Yoruba culture, traditions, and it seems to be that there's still a clash between our cultures or traditions and
let me tell you, because we're out of time on this segment, let me tell you, it is deliberate on the part of some of the modern day kings to do mischief. Okay? The deal is not restricted to Ifa alone.
Okay.
Yes, spiritual consultation, but with the active approval of Kingmakers, chiefs, and the royal family. And in this case, when during his lifetime, when he tried to do that, right in the presence of the governor, I made it so clear. And with the Kingmakers were the ones who placed the crown on his head, and he brought an archbishop, a worthy man for that matter. We just said, well, we will place the crown. We will do your coronation. Your own pastor, whoever you wish, will do the invocation of the Holy Spirit. Period. These things are matters of tradition, culture, and custom, and nothing can change that. It's a matter of convention, and it is succinctly captured in the declaration, the white paper on each royal stool. In this case, tradition trumps.
We have a few comments in the chat. Shout out to Natus in our comments right now. She says, "Omo, the Olori has liver." What do you say to that?
Yes, indeed, she's got more than liver. She's got.
Is that a good thing or bad thing?
Bad thing. What that person is saying is that she's got liver, standing against tradition like that. You see, what she has been able to do is to manipulate the police, manipulate everybody, saying that she is a celebrity Lagos lawyer. That does not apply when it comes to tradition and small kingdoms like ours. Tradition would always triumph. And this is why I'm putting everybody, royal fathers, traditionalists, Christians, Muslims, everywhere, that even in the Bible, the queen that acted this way was Jezebel, and she met a Waterloo. There will be equivalent of that in the Quran as well. I'm not well versed in the Quran, but this is an aberration. Igbos will call it Tofiapa. Yorubas will say a war.
Hey, wow. All right, so I mean, we'll continue to follow the story along with you because you happen to be a part of that family, directly or indirectly. So, somebody says story, power pass power, village local champions, NATO meeting. You have anything to say to that?
Well, it's all right. It's all right. Power pass power. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, you want to push on that power. Somebody would lose, but we don't want anybody to be a victim. We just want a peaceful resolution of all this. Right. And no queen consort that is an Olori to be romancing the body of a late king. That in itself is a necrophilia. Sex with the dead. Nobody should live like that. That's shameful.
Anyway, if you're wondering what we're talking about our very, very, very own hometown, Ayede Ogbese. There's a you can see the flyer that was printed a little while back, I guess by the Olori, says celebrating the life and legacy of His Royal Majesty Alayelua.
Yes. Even in that, she broke protocol. She got on Twitter and she never allowed the palace to break the news of the passing of the king. She did that with what's it called? Fidgety, itchy fingers on the internet. How do you tweet out to people that a king has passed on as an Olori? It's not your place. It's not your duty.
It's not done in Yoruba land, eh?
They are well structured. There are protocols. These are what she has breached. And this is why we are putting the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Local Government Affairs in Ondo State on notice. We are putting the governor of the state on notice. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on notice that the Inspector General is acting beyond his powers, and he has to be called to order. He will not try this elsewhere. And this is all the kinds of stuff they dump on us, and then it looks like our royal institutions are inferior to other countries all over the world. What a shame.
All right, great. Let us know what your thoughts are. Hit the like, share, subscribe, and follow button. Leave your comments.
Finally, the elders that were slammed into detention today were Mama Yeyoba Elizabeth Bello, Prince Ruben Adegoriola Oluyede, Prince Adetunji Oluyede, commonly known as Sava, and then Prince Adegboyega Oluyede. Luckily, our lawyers moved. They would be back in the community, but Lisa Femi Fajembimo, Tunji Aladeoki, Kunle Oluyede, acting with this Olori and the forceful peddlers that operate with them, to please push back on these excesses and outright violation of the right of our people to uphold our culture and tradition in terms of kingmaking and royal funeral rights. They have to caution themselves.
All right, great. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Natu says, even in Hausa land, it is not done. Yeah, so you have it right there. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think about this. Hit like, share, subscribe, and follow. We do have some other stories to cover. And yes, check out this next segment. Welcome back. Let's talk about the EFCC drama. Coalition begs Tinubu to help with getting Yahaya Bello. There's a report here on leadership.ng talking about, is it the Odu Coalition Group, OCG, Kogi East Chapter, has pleaded with President Bola Tinubu to intervene and ensure that the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, operates in accordance with constitutional provision and respect the rule of law in its trial of former governor of Kogi. I thought they said they already lifted their foot off of his neck. Are you following this story? Can you bring us up to speed?
Oh yes. Nobody would lift any neck. I mean, would
lift the foot off of his neck.
Yeah, nobody would lift any foot off the neck of Yahaya or Yahaya Bello. Nobody would do that. Remember when he ran to the law court as the latest mayor for protection, the judge told him, even if the order restraining EFCC from arresting him had been wrongfully issued, Yahaya Bello had an onerous duty and responsibility of willingly submitting himself to the process. That is, should have gone to EFCC to volunteer statements about what he knew or what he knows about allegations of misappropriations and outright fraud and embezzlement. That is the position. And in this case, he has not done that. Hence, the coalition that came out to demand the intervention of the Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to help in anything, if not apprehending Mr. Yahaya Bello. That is the situation.
There's another report here that I want to bring you up to speed on this day live that says Bello has blatantly refused to appear before the commission, which had accused him of questionable financial dealings that range from the obnoxious to the outlandish. The day after the EFCC, in a statement, officially declared Bello wanted in connection with an alleged case of money laundering to the tune of 80 billion plus naira. It would emerge that Bello, as governor, allegedly withdrew $720,000. So that's what we're kind of like coming up to speed with. But I thought that they were done. The EFCC chairman Ayede revealed that out of respect for his office, I called Yahaya Bello as a serving governor to come to my office to clear himself. I shouldn't have done that, but he said because a certain senator had planted over 100 journalists in my office, he would not come. I told him that he would be allowed to use my private gate.
Bello was suspected of referring to Senator Natasha Akpoti that she would get journalists, the media to embarrass him. Well, you know, as the
Is
government
Senator Natasha a journalist? She's
she's
a
not.
senator.
But remember, for the longest time, how Yahaya Bello harassed and hounded that woman as an aspiring political figure in Kogi
Right,
State.
in Kogi State.
Yes, she's of a mixed race.
Right.
Yeah. So because of Natasha Akpoti Uzoaha, you remember that Yahaya Bello even went to the extreme, took extreme measures of embarrassing the king of Ebiraland, the, or um, the later king of Okene, embarrassed him, did all kinds of stuff. He was destroying public property, getting earth-moving equipment and bulldozer to destroy the roads leading to the neighborhood of Natasha Akpoti. Just
During
you know,
during the voting, right?
yes, what to qualify as I mean, what's it called? Trying to undermine the smooth election process in other climes. That's what he did. And in that, I mean, pursuant to that, he was destroying public properties. This was things Yahaya Bello did not too long ago. He had forgotten that he would soon be out of office. He will be in the cold. Now that he has
I've been
not
running.
even
I've been running.
yeah, he's a fugitive from the law as we speak. He's a
Oh
fugitive
my
from the law. He's
God.
even suspected of trying to raise military and non-state actors that would what's it called, that will visit violence and resistance on EFCC officials if they come into Kogi State to arrest him. That is how lunatic and how crazy Yahaya Bello has. I mean, let us. This is almost like Yahaya Bello has gone mad again.
Now, what do you think? Do you think Tinubu is going to chime in on this, or Tinubu is just going to face? Is this he has bigger fishes to fry?
Who is Yahaya Bello in Nigeria that Tinubu should not dedicate all the entire resources of I mean, that's supposed to take care of almost 230 million Nigerians to him? He has to do what is normal. If he does, let him raise whatever number of military he wants. The police in Nigeria is able to rein him in. They are just studying the situation from my analysis or from my suspicion. They are just studying. When it is time to move against him, they will move against him. And if the police cannot do it, the situation will be escalated such that we begin to see the interaction of power, authority, and force here. And then somebody would have to be brought in, dead or alive. But we don't want him dead.
You want him alive, locked
alive,
up,
so that he can face the consequence of having to steal from millions of Nigerians. You know how much they're talking of here. But for that American school in Abuja that assisted in returning the excess that he had stolen, trying to use that hallowed institution to launder
money.
Funds. Yes, dirty funds stolen from the people of Nigeria. So he was denying until, I mean, that school made a refund. So don't let us dissipate too much energy on Yahaya Bello. He's too insignificant in the history of Nigeria. I wonder what people think when they take on the state the way he is doing. It is an exercise in futility. He can run, he cannot hide. And I suspect that.
So let the law enforcement worry about that.
Let them do their job. Let them do their job. You know, no partridge is higher than the other unless one perches on a heap.
Do you think Nigerian politicians will ever learn that their days are numbered in those offices? Do you think that Nigerian?
Yeah. I'm not going to be the first person that will come to a conclusion on this question you have asked. Like I told you, the revered British journalist, BBC reporter Elizabeth Blunt asked the late political sage NNAMDI Azikiwe during the Second Republic, upon return to active democratic politics in Nigeria, 1979, 78, 79 to 83. She asked him, have Nigerian politicians learned any lesson after 13 years of uninterrupted military rule? NNAMDI Azikiwe said they have not learned anything, that they have learned nothing. So that is my response to this question from you. I only quip that our politicians do not understand that they are engulfed and that the people are now more alert and conscious and that the system will work with the people to put them in check. That is what is happening to Yahaya Bello.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Let us know what your thoughts are about this ongoing story with Yahaya Bello. Yahaya Bello, not Yahaya. Yahaya Bello. I should correct that. So let us know what you think about that. We want to hear your comments. We want to see your comments. We know that you're engaged in this story, so please let us know. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and follow, and we'll be right back.
In office.
By the approval of Mr. President, we believe that from 27th of this month, we shall start the inauguration of the various projects. And particularly on 27th, we believe the President will flag off the commercial operation of the metro line. So we're happy, and the contractors are meeting up. All the promises made, they have fulfilled, and we have also fulfilled our own part by making sure that we have cash backed up.
The minister also gives reasons why street lights are not functioning in some parts of the FCT.
Most of the projects we're doing, you don't expect the lights to be on now. All they are doing, they are test running it. So sometimes most of the streets you are talking about are those that are I'm not distracted. If I'm distracted, you won't see this performance here. I focus on my work, so I'm not interested. I'm the minister of FCT. The works are going on, so why would I be distracted? If you are distracted, how would...
All right, so he's talking about he's not distracted by Rivers politics. There's also a report on around the social media today about former President Goodluck Jonathan has advised, hold on one second, sorry about that. He has advised both the Minister of Federal Capital Territory FCT, Nyesom Wike, and Governor Siminalayi Fubara to cease fire so that the ongoing political crisis in Rivers State does not snowball into a bigger regional and national challenge with greater consequences. What says you? Brings us up to speed. Your thoughts on Rivers drama?
Yes. Mr. Jason Wike, let me give him credit, number one, that he is less temperamental in this interview. You can see that his voice is less husky. Yeah, unlike at other times when he will be so upbeat and then almost choking while making a public appearances and speeches. So let me give him credit for watching. Placing his BP under watch. Voila. That said, it's just some plausible deniability on his part to say that it's not distracting. Of course, you know that it's not always focus on the job, on the present issues of governance or leadership. You know, like Jerry Gada would say in his days as the boss of a MAMSA in Nigeria, if whatever job you are given, do it well. You are profess well. So in this case, we don't know. We cannot say with supreme confidence that Jason Wike has ministered properly as a minister since he started minding the Abuja position. But with the rising tension, yes, he can deny for all we care. His end, his unseen ends are in the antics and works of commissioners resigning from the cabinet of from the ESCO of Fubara in Rivers State. And we see is an invisible hand in the way these lawmakers have decided to be. You can't say whether they are for APC right now or they are for PDP, but they also they have become, and the position of the law is that since they have become without any crisis at the central level, I mean at the what we call at the national level of the party to which they belong, in this case the PDP, that they are deemed to have vacated their seats as lawmakers. As per what former President Goodluck Jonathan said,
right,
we can only sympathize with Jonathan because at the root of this, who started it all? Yes, on Wike. But let me first commend him for being statesmanly in calling for caution on the part of the warring factions in Rivers leadership, Fubara and Wike. I mean, in this instance. And I share that sentiment that this may escalate to a sub-regional crisis. It could lead, it can degenerate into unintended, what's it called? Hoopla of unimaginable proportions. Remember the days of imbroglio, the face-off between Obafemi Awolowo and Samuel Ladoke Akintola in Western region. That was what degenerated into the intervention of the military January 15, 1966. Some call it a revolution, some call it the first military coup d'etat. But the unrestrained conduct of politicians in the Western region was what led to the failure of Nigeria's first republic. And so, comparing between that situation and what we have in Rivers State now, if not checked, this may result to a major conflict. Already is becoming an odd exchange, intemperate interaction between peoples of Ijaw nation and the Ikweres in Rivers State. God forbid that we have this kind of sub-regional crisis on our hands. We don't want it. Already, Nigeria is going through a lot. And remember the way Rupert Murdoch's media has gone to town to describe Nigeria as a place of crisis and what have you, just because of the banditry and the Boko Haram situation. Who needs
he said just because.
I said just, yeah, that is, I mean, so who needs another crisis elsewhere in Nigeria? So, Wike should wear the thinking hat. You may deny, everybody may want to paint Fubara as being quarrelsome lately. He is not. As an elected governor, if somebody calls himself a godfather and now wants to be
running the show,
yes. What will you do in the instance? And somebody has argued that people should be grateful, that Fubara ought to be grateful to Wike. What of Wike to being grateful to Fubara for things they did together? Anyway, concerning Jonathan, he and his wife started all this nonsense. When former Governor Rotimi Amechi recommended Wike, his then chief of staff, to to the federal government, to the government of to Jonathan, and he became Minister of State for Education. And then he decided to mutiny against his principal back in Rivers State. They enabled him. Even when it was almost clear that Wike was not going to win the election, they used federal might to get him there. So he is their boy who has become so unmanageable. They should deal with that.
Okay. All right. As you know, we're going to continue to cover this this Rivers drama because I don't think it's anywhere near stopping in spite of President Jonathan's appease for them to make peace. But we'll continue to cover that. Do us a favor. Let us know what your thoughts are. Hit the like, share, subscribe, and follow button. And we do have... you're going to like this next segment. So, we'll be right back. All right, well, welcome back. You know what time it is. I have, this is going to be somewhat of a special report too. And I have I'm going to play a series of videos for you, okay? So you have to be kind of patient with this one. But I'm going to give you the question already up front, okay? The question that I have for you is Donald Trump versus P. Diddy or Puff Daddy. Who's worse? That's the main question. So I'm going to play a series of videos for you. Let's be patient with this one, and let's get into the very first one. This is a fresh report of what's going on today with the Donald Trump's hush money case. We'll be right back. Just listen in.
A criminal trial against former President Donald Trump, and Cohen is now back on the stand for his fourth day of testimony. The former president and the prosecutors getting the chance now to question Cohen, not the president, clearly, the prosecutors, as the defense team for Trump concludes its cross-examination. Just a short bit ago, the prosecutor
has now been resolved, Kira, because both sides have stipulated that the photo can come in. That basically spares prosecutors from having to bring up that C-SPAN witness all over again to get that photo into evidence. But critically, Kira, that little spat revealing some of the defense's case. Attorney Todd Blanche, Trump's attorney, told the judge that they are prepared to rest essentially within minutes of prosecutors resting their case, saying that they have just two short witnesses that they plan to call and then they will rest their case. And of course, what that seems to indicate without saying it is that Donald Trump is not going to testify as part of this trial. Now we will wait, of course, for Todd Blanche to...
All right, so to complete that real quick, the prosecutors rested their case today in Donald Trump trial on charges of falsifying business records, and defense attorneys began questioning their own witnesses ahead of closing arguments. So that's basically the conclusion today. Now let me bring you up to speed with what's going on with why are we comparing this to Puff Daddy? It's kind of wild. Actually today, they talked today about a biopic of Donald Trump coming up in which he was described as an RAPist. If you know what I mean, we don't want to say that word on YouTube. Okay, so now let's talk about P. Diddy. This is the report that broke out over the last 48 hours or so with Puff Daddy. Here we go, directly from CNN. Oh, sorry.
Lawsuit
Let's do this all over again. Let's go.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs assaulting his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video. There is no audio. According to the complaint, Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye, which according to the lawsuit prompted Ventura to try and leave the hotel room. The surveillance video obtained by CNN begins as she enters the hallway. The complaint says as she exited, Mr. Combs awoke and began screaming at Miss Ventura. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling at her.
Do you mind if I come in?
No. That's okay. That's okay. But you need to hear the full thing, okay?
All right.
At least the audience needs to hear it. Yeah, it's not that long.
Complaint goes on to say he grabbed her and then took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her. Music mogul.
All right, so that's the first part of it, right? But then in the like yesterday, about 24 hours ago, he tendered an apology. I'm gonna play that very short apology for you real quick.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy. Going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
All right. So there we have it.
To answer your question,
Donald Trump versus Puff Daddy. Who's worse? Take your time. Take your time, please.
Well, I have pondered over this. Donald Trump is worse. But they both are liars. They both are liars. Initially, when that Hollywood access tape surfaced in those days, do you remember Donald Trump denying? But later, when they saw, from what we have now learned from the current litigation in New York, in Manhattan, district attorney's prosecution, later, Donald Trump came back to apologize. In the case of Puff Daddy, he denied. He was in denial. So they both are liars. That is a common denominator there. But this Puff Daddy came back and apologized and even acknowledged that he needs the grace of God and forgiveness of the people and God. In the case of Donald Trump, he was asked, have you ever had cause to ask God for forgiveness? He said, what did he do? Oh, yes.
All right, that's not, I don't know if that's funny, but that's weird.
That is weird. So who among us is not, has no weakness?
What did I do?
All of us have sinned and falling short of the glory. So that is why I said Puff Daddy is better than Donald Trump. Donald Trump will lie and lie and lie and deny and deny and deny. He will double down.
But then would Puff Daddy ever admit if he wasn't caught on tape?
But that is where you find that he is a more penitent individual personality than Donald Trump. Even when Donald Trump was caught on tape, he was still lying. Clearly, he had done things to women. And what did he do? Always in denial and blaming the victims. Here, you find somebody who is genuinely penitent. Am I in that position to grant him what he wants? To say that go and sin no more? Perhaps. But let us leave that for the pontiff, the pope, and men in long castles. But in this case, I find him a better person than Donald Trump and Rupert Murdoch.
Wow. All right, we're going to leave it at that. We want to ask the audience that same question, okay? Donald Trump versus Puff Daddy. In your opinion, who's worse. Okay, we do have one more story that we want to cover today. You're gonna like this next segment. We'll be right back. All right, let's listen to this video and we'll be right back.
Judicial Prevention Act says I cannot be tried in Nigeria. That's the law of Nigeria. I can never be tried in any court of law in Nigeria. That's what the law says. Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says. Not me. As simple as that. Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committed an act of terrorism. Yes. Very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person. Is not done anywhere in the world. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct the trial. Is not done anywhere in the world. I have it in my case. Nobody has, there's no exception. No exception whatsoever. That's what the law says. Section 12 of the Constitution, what does it say? Any treaty ratified by Nigeria becomes law. It's law. You cannot change it. It doesn't matter what they do. All these shenanigans is just pure rubbish. You never stand. Not with me. I believe in justice and fairness, that's all. Nigeria signed to a right, not to ambition.
All right, the person you were looking at right there is NNAMDI KANU. It's illegality. I cannot be tried by any court in Nigeria. He says no court can try him in Nigeria. You have an opinion around this, sir? Maybe you can tell us also who NNAMDI KANU is for the audience.
NNAMDI KANU is the convener of the movement for what's it called? Independent Peoples of Biafra, IPOB. And too bad that we did everything to end the war that was fought. The Nigerian Civil War that was fought. Some people call it Nigerian Civil War. Some people call it Biafra War. That was fought between 1967 and January 1970. That war has ended, but we have not been able to secure the peace. So sad. So sad. And I say again, it is a big tragedy on the part of everyone involved. I mean, all the sides involved. General Gowon is still alive, and as against his former subordinate, Muhammadu Buhari, who once got so reckless and was saying they will be taught, Igbo people will be taught the lessons of the Civil War all over. No, none of us would be able to connect with the lessons, the actual lessons he meant, because that one was not fought by Hausa Fulani alone. Jukuns were involved, Lantan people were involved, Yoruba soldiers were involved, Edo soldiers were involved, every Nigerian on all sides. Although we could have avoided the situation, they all fought. And then today, we find it so hard to allow Igbos a breathing space. So they look at these injustices, social deprivation, political marginalization, and they go to town asking for their right within the Nigerian Federation. If you do not like a people and you cannot manage them or tolerate them, then the simple thing, like the Biafrans have said, is that, okay, they want to be. And so, something that has been an established pattern with Muhammadu Buhari was replayed during this democracy. 1984, he tried to create, he got the support of certain Mossad, Israeli Mossad agents, to kidnap the late Dr. Umaru Diko, who was the then Minister of Transport and the man in charge of rice whatever under the administration of Shehu Shagari. He tried to crate him back to Nigeria. You know, years later, when Nigeria was returning to democracy in 1998, starting from 1998, 1999, I sat with Dr. Diko in his house in Asokoro, Abuja. And he denied it all, that he never stole any 4 billion naira. The only reason why Buhari wanted him to be created, to be brought to Nigeria like a cargo, until they were intercepted by eagle-eyed British immigration officials, was because he knew forehand that Buhari and some people were plotting to overthrow Shagari, and he raised a dust, an alarm. That was his only crime. And then they blackmailed him that he stole 4 billion naira. That aside, look at what has happened under Buhari's administration. Although voted on the platform of APC, strategy never changed. From what NNAMDI KANU said, he was granted court bail. Agents of the state invaded his home. They nearly killed him. And there were victims that day. People were killed. Same thing that happened in the home of Sunday Igboho in Ibadan. There is this pattern that the government in Nigeria has a way of turning guns bought with taxpayers' money, with citizens' money, against defenseless citizens. No wonder Rupert Murdoch's foot soldiers, journalists, media people will go to town to say that things like this happen in Nigeria. And I believe that NNAMDI KANU's argument is unassailable. And everybody that tries to correct Nigerian government to make them see that they should not go down the path of perdition is always put on their watch list. We have to be able to disagree without being disagreeable. If I'm paraphrasing the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we must be able to interact, have conversation, dialogue, be able to talk to ourselves intelligently. I do not think it was right to have kidnapped, to have brought NNAMDI KANU to Nigeria under influence while attending an international forum in Kenya. No wonder people like us and so many Nigerians all over the world live in panic, thinking that there are agents of NIA, the Nigerian equivalent of CIA, everywhere in the world, and that they can kill any of us who are Nigerians in the diaspora just for expressing us, even ordinarily saying that we should be allowed to exercise our voting right, that they may come for us and kill us someday. We need to caution ourselves right now. Bola Tinubu cannot inherit Buhari's prejudices and failures. He should set his own legacy. There must be a political solution to this situation. That's what I want to say at this point.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, that was it right there. I'm personally going to continue to pay a little bit more attention to the stories around NNAMDI KANU, and because I'm learning, I'm a learner, so I'm with you. But some of you are going to educate me in the comment section. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, leave your comments, leave your opinions in the chat below. And any last word for today, Chief?
None other than the fact that we should be mindful of our place, our station, our situation in life. Particularly those of us in the diaspora, wherever we find ourselves, even as we integrate effectively and responsibly, let us own our citizenship. You cannot miss out in the drive to be part of the political process in the forthcoming American election. We too are Americans. The fact that we are who we are, we speak the way we speak, does not make us less American than others. It doesn't even make us less human than anybody. Do not be intimidated. Do not be cowed. Do not be suppressed. Get out there and get active. Thank you.
Essentially, you are saying this year you don't go grief for anybody.
No grief for anybody.
No grief for anybody. Okay.
No grief for anybody.
No grief for anybody. AG Ohio says facts by the speaker. Thank you so much, AG Ohio. Thank you, Natu, for being here. I appreciate you. Like I said, hit like, share, subscribe, and turn up your notifications. Follow if you're on Facebook. Share. Thank you. You're watching Sharp Edge News TV. Hopefully, been enlightened and educated. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye now.